Hello and welcome to Strange Talk with Doc. I hope that you're having a good day. I hope everything is well with you, and I hope everything is well with yours. The gist of the show before we move on to the All Star break, wrestling, and news, and things like that, I got a simple question for you. Are you a follower? Do you need to be led? And if you do, let me lead you. I'm not saying I want to be your cult leader. I'm not saying that I want to be your guru, but it's saying not just me, but find a good leader. Good leaders are not hard to find. Open your eyes, look at people who are successful at things that you are lacking success in, and those are the people who can help guide you. I know that people are scared to lead. It is lonely being in the front of the pack. It is a very lonely place. It is not a lot of people's comfort zones. But see, one thing about leaders, good leaders once followed somebody. We don't know it all. We have never known it all, nor will we ever know it all. You learn by sitting at the feet of those who've been places you haven't been. See, the lion is the king of the jungle, but he learns about the ocean from the fish. I know it's a metaphor, but it's the truth. He's never been there. He doesn't know how it is to live there. If you have a lack and you are trying to do something and you have no success in it, the best way to get success in anything is to listen, to at least evaluate what is being said by people who are successful in the field of endeavor that you are trying to pursue. And it's not how many people you ever get to follow you that counts. It is not how many people that you can get to put as a feather in your cap that look at how many people that I lead. I'm a gang leader. I have 30,000 gang members underneath me. I'm a this, that, or the other, and I have all these people who follow me. The only thing that matters for a leader is how many other leaders that leader can create. If that leader cannot create leaders, he or she has failed. That is their number one job. A leader wants to create other leaders. They want to create other bosses. And that's how they remain in power. They get moved further up the food chain because there's more people underneath them who have more people underneath them. And as you see, it's like an anthill, it grows. Find a mentor, find a teacher, find a course of study that involves sitting at the foot of somebody else who knows better than you. Put your pride aside. This is what it takes to truly lead or to be led. You must put your pride aside. Your leader or your mentor is not your friend. They are your guide. They might have knowledge or insight of something that you cannot personally see. I boxed. I had a coach. When my coach told me to do certain things at certain times, without question, I did them because I knew this was another set of eyes that were more skilled, seen more things than I'd ever seen or will ever see. And I sometimes robotically did them, and they always turned out for my betterment because I could not see everything. And this person was put in my life at a moment in time in my life to make sure that I could get to where I needed to be. Once again, I'm going to reiterate and I'm going to move on from this. Don't be scared to be in the front of the pack. It's a lonely place. It's a responsibility. With certain responsibilities in life comes downfalls. It's not always sunshine and roses. There are going to be things that are going to be hard, but you can't get ahead following your whole life. You cannot move to the place that you need to move in life as only a follower. Followers don't make good parents. Followers don't make good grandparents. There has to be a set of balls on a person to be able to step out on their own and say, I'm not going to go with the masses on everything. I have a brain, a functioning brain. I'm going to use it. I've been blessed with common sense. Use your common sense. Don't be easily led astray. And I wish you the best. And now let's move on. Hall of Fame NBA coach Bill Fitch passed away. He was 89 years old. He passed away a while ago. There are a couple of people that I forgot to say RIPs to. And Bill Fitch coached the Boston Celtics to the 1981 NBA championship. Former Notre Dame and Cincinnati Bengals star Ross Browner, he died at 67. I believe he had passed away maybe a week or two ago too. Like I said, I'm just cleaning up some stuff that I was remiss on remembering. Grammy-winning songwriter and musician James Mtume, he died at the age of 76. And forgive me for saying this, Washington Redskin Hall of Famer Charley Taylor died at the age of 80. When I was a kid, he was just retiring. He was with the Redskins for 30 plus years. So he coached while they won those 3 championships. He did play in the 72 championship game that they lost. When this man retired, he was the all-time leading receiver in the history of the NFL. So Charley Taylor was a bad man. So RIP to all these gentlemen. COVID cases are up to 80 million right now. 960,000 people have died. Now, this is just America. 80 million in the 960. Supposedly, we up to 550 vaccinations in one shape, form, or another. And as you know, a lot of states are scaling down on the wearing of masks. I think that within the next 2 or 3 weeks, most cities and states, masks will no longer be mandatory. And let's see how this works out. Worldwide, we're up to 426 million cases and 5.9 million people have died from this dreaded virus. So we find out this week that Trump, Ivanka, and Donald Jr. must testify about their family business in federal court in New York City. We know that they are going to plead the fifth, plead the fifth, plead the fifth, plead the fifth. It's going to be ad nauseum, plead the fifth. But it's only going to get worse for them by pleading the fifth because they're going to be under oath in court. And this can be used against them if they perjure themselves. Any kind of lying or jiving around, it can be brought up against them. So we have to see how this plays out. And hopefully this is not a dog and pony show. I hope that there's some real meat and potatoes involved in this. The ex-cop from Minnesota, Kim Potter, was sentenced to 24 months for killing Daunte Wright. She should have got more time. The judge in this was out of pocket. What the judge did was an abomination to tell the Wright family who lost their loved one that they should have empathy for the person who killed them. I hope this woman is removed from the bench. She was out of control, as my wife would call it, using a porn style voice when she read the conviction. Then to sentence her 24 months, which means maybe another 14 months with good behavior. And why wouldn't Kim Potter have good behavior? She's in an isolated wing, a PC, wherever she's locked up. There's probably nothing there but rats and other cops. Even though she did look worn and battered, and she even did look like she may be sorry, but this is the same woman who laughed and smiled basically in her mug shots. So, you know what? I don't wish her the best. I wish this time is hard time for her. There's no excuse for somebody being on the force 29 or 26 years and not knowing the difference between a taser and a 9mm. It's ridiculous. This young man, no matter what he did that day, a cop is never supposed to be judge, jury, and executioner. A cop is not supposed to be judge, jury, and executioner. I said that correctly. And the only time that they can play judge, jury, and executioner is when an assailant is firing a weapon or using deadly force against them. I don't care if they're battling, being combative, have a loud mouth. Those are not death sentences. So this company called We One Tactical, they came out at this gun show called the SHOT Show with the We One Tactical Junior 15 rifle. This is really crazy shit here. It's designed to be a perfectly scaled down replica of the AR. It's on a platform for youth shooters in mind. Does America not have enough youth shooters? I think this is like a graduated AR. You start with one bullet, and these are live rounds. This is no dummy ammo. Then I think you're able to put a 5-round clip, then a 10-round clip, and I think it actually bumps up to the maximum, which is a 20-round clip. And the lock on this thing is really foolish. It's just twist this one knob, and it goes where a kid can shoot it. These kids are ingenious. They figure out stuff in a day, an hour. So any kid or parent who thinks that this is some kind of safety lock, when we're supposed to have better safety locks, and this is coming from somebody who is not anti-gun. I'm a pro-gun guy. I'm a gun owner, multiples. I believe in guns. I believe in gun shows. I'm a member of gun ranges. So this is not about that. This is about desensitizing children to real live guns and give them an AR in a style that they can contain, maintain, and perform with. I think at too young an age makes no sense. So this former 911 actor, 911 being the TV show on Fox, Rockmond Dunbar is suing Disney and Fox for being fired for not getting vaccinated for COVID. Now, all of a sudden, he must have placed some kind of my religion came into play, blah, blah, blah. I'm not buying into his garbage. I think that he should have did the right thing. He has 4 young children. He should have went out and got a vaccination. He should have did the research. There are enough people walking around vaccinated who haven't just dropped dead like some bird out of the sky. So, I mean, to throw away an $80,000 a week job over some kind of standards, but then say that I want to sue you because you have rules in place makes no sense to me. So we have Power Book 4 for us. Tommy's up to his nonsense as usual. The first 2 episodes have been very good. I'm going to watch episode 3 today. The Walking Dead is back. I watched the first 2 episodes. Well, the first episode, I thought it was pretty good. I think that they're setting Daryl up to do stupid shit again. Every time they get a chance to ice somebody, they want to do this narrative that man wouldn't be vicious towards other men when the biggest monster on the planet has always been man. I finished up Hawkeye. If you have not seen Hawkeye, the Marvel TV series, I highly recommend that you watch it. It was entertaining. It was lighthearted. It was good. It was fast moving. I really enjoyed that. I also watched a documentary called Mr. A and Mr. M. This was the story of A&M Records. It was a nice, quick 2-parter documentary. I enjoyed it. It explained some things about A&M Records. I didn't know a lot of artists that was on A&M who were actually artists signed to A&M, like Janet Jackson. I had no clue that she was on A&M. Also this weekend, we had the WWE Elimination Chamber. Excuse me. We found out that the Undertaker is going into the WWE Hall of Fame. They got to make sure that the other people that they pick to go into the same class with the Undertaker are also iconic. You can't have some also-ran going in with the Undertaker, who's a WWE all-time legend. If you're a wrestling fan, you know who he is. I don't have to explain who he is, how important he is, what he means to that industry. The Elimination Chamber was actually, to me, a good card. It was even Goldberg wasn't horrible. He did what he had to do. The crowd was into it. The women were fantastic. We know that they were in Saudi Arabia and they couldn't wear their sexy, but they still worked. I mean, they still put in the work. Bianca Belair is fantastic. I thought Brock Lesnar, who I'm not a huge fan of, but he brought the funk. He brought the noise. He was more than believable as a monster. I feel bad for Bobby Lashley. I hope that he really is not concussed. That is some part of an angle. But if you haven't seen the Elimination Chamber and you like wrestling, I think that you should get your hands on that, and maybe you'll enjoy it also. Yesterday, while the NBA was having their festivities, Michigan's coach, Juwan Howard, who's also a member of those Fab Five teams for the University of Michigan, he took a swing at the Wisconsin coach. Now, I looked at this video over and over and over and over again. I do not see anybody in white touching Juwan Howard. When he did his press conference after the incident, he never once apologized. And even if he didn't feel he needed to apologize to the Wisconsin coach and their fans, because those two teams then had a semi brawl, he should have apologized to each and every member of his Michigan basketball team for being out of control, for not being an example that he's supposed to be to young men to do the right thing at all times, not when you pick and choose, but at all times. There is a responsibility that goes with coaching other than just W's and L's. It's also to be that mentor that we talked about, to be that guy to help them through situations and let them know that violence is not always the way, to be able to walk away from a situation that does not need to be escalated. But he's blaming outside forces to somebody laid hands on him, and he's not going for it. As a 50-year-old multi-millionaire man, I ain't going for this street level bullshit. He's better than this. I think he's better than this, but he's had a lot of incidents. I won't be surprised if he's suspended for the rest of the season, if not fired outright. That's on Michigan. That's on the Big Ten, how much pride they have. I don't want to see the race card brought into this. Juwan Howard cannot bring the race card into this. If he does, he makes himself even look weaker. So we had UFC Fight Night. It was originally supposed to be Rafael dos Anjos versus Rafael Favari, but there was some visa issues, so that bout was called off. And instead, we got Johnny Walker versus Jamal Hill as the main event. Jamal Hill had a devastating knockout of Johnny Walker. I can't really describe it. If you're watching this on YouTube, there's a picture where you see Johnny Walker's face totally distorted. You could pause it at that moment and you will see it. Jessica Rose Clark fought Stephanie Egger. Stephanie Egger finished Jessica. Jessica fought dumb. She fought a woman who's a judo person, and she kept letting this woman judo toss her, and then she wound up losing, and I'm going to say a real 2017 and before manner, an armbar. It was almost as though Ronda Rousey, the ghost of Ronda Rousey from the Elimination Chamber, came back to the UFC and beat Jessica Rose Clark. It was over and all, it was a pretty good card. Now, next week, we were supposed to also have Beneil Dariush versus Islam Maskov, but that's been called off. And I believe now we're going to have Thiago Santos is filling in for Beneil Dariush. On that card, we're also going to have Hannah Gold versus Jin Yu Fry. So hopefully that's a good card coming up. So Brian Flores, who is suing the NFL and some NFL teams, has been hired by Mike Tomlin to coach the linebackers for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We have to see how this plays out. How can you have a lawsuit against the same league that you're a part of? This is going to be freaky. So this is going to be interesting to see how this thing plays out. But congratulations to Brian Flores for landing a job. At least he is in the NFL in some capacity. Matthew Stafford, I'm not going to use the word appears. He walked away from that photographer, that female photographer who fell, and unfortunately she broke her spine. That was the most bullshit Christian move that I've seen. I mean, not just that. Matthew Stafford is publicly drinking to intoxication. He's smoking cigars. Now, I have no problem with drinking. I have no problem with cigars. I have no problem with celebration of Super Bowl. That's a big accomplishment. But don't sit there every 5 minutes and tell us how Christian you are and you do things like that, you come off as a hypocrite, you come off as a fraud, you come off as a fake. But I'm glad that the Rams and his wife Kelly, who did jump at this, Kelly looked like she was in shock. So now the Rams, Matthew Stafford and Kelly Stafford have said that they will cover all her medical fees. And I'm hoping that she can recover from this fractured spine that she received at the Super Bowl rally. And he's got to do a better job. If you're going to say who you are, then be who you are in public and in behind closed doors. So we had the NBA All-Star Weekend. Friday they had the celebrities game. The celebrities game, I mean, some of these people were, I don't even know how you call them celebrities. And it wasn't entertaining. So I didn't finish it. I started it, but I couldn't finish it. I thought it sucked. The Clorox Rising Stars game was all right. Then Saturday, you had the HBCU Classic. Morgan State played Howard University. I think that came down to the wire. I did not watch that game, so I have nothing really to report. Now, the All-Star Saturday night, you had the Taco Bell Skill Challenge. You had Team Akapatumbo, which was the three Akapatumbo brothers, versus Team Cavs and Team Rookies. And Team Cavs actually won the skills challenge. That was pretty damn good. It took a long time because they changed the format. It's not just one person running up and down the court doing the dribble, the pass, and then the layup and three-point shot. It was a whole team. So I thought that was a good twist. I thought it was very good. The slam dunk contest was an abomination. It was won by this ObiToppin from the New York Knicks. It was horrible. Uh, uh, Greg Anthony's son, thinking some way or another, crip walking and then putting on Timberlands was going to ingratiate him with the hip hop or young people was bullshit. This is a kid of privilege who didn't think. You know, you dunking in a pair of Timberlands doesn't make anything special. You're there to do a spectacular dunk. This was the worst slam dunk contest that I've ever seen, other than the year that Nate Robinson took 900 dunks to win. Now, the three-point contest was won by gigantic cat, Karl Anthony Towns. It was good to see a big dude be able to shoot with the smaller guys the way he was, and he won the three-point. He's only the second big man to do it. Kevin Love has done it. Now Cat has done it. And Cat has had a rough year and a half, so I'll always root for good things for him. Sunday, we had the NBA Legends Award. They revealed the 75 greatest team. They had a G League All-Star game. And the 71st NBA All-Star game was played. And Team LeBron won that game 163 to 160. Steph Curry scored 50 points, won the MVP of the game, and he recorded 16 three-pointers, which is a record. 16 three-pointers, but this is not a real game. This is an exhibition. They're not playing for marbles and money, really. These dudes are loaded. Whatever little money they get for playing in this game is a joke. This is not like 30 years ago where guys really could use that bonus money from a game like this. Now, I'm going to give you what I consider to be the best basketball games coming up later this week, and then we're going to get out of here. The NBA is going to return to regular action on Thursday, and the Celtics are going to play the Nets. I don't know if Ben Simmons will be playing, but that should be interesting. Friday, you got the Clippers versus the Lakers. AD should not be back for this game. And you also have the Mavs versus the Jazz. Saturday, you got the Nets versus the Bucks. By that game, I'm thinking that Ben Simmons should be playing for the Nets. You also have the Jazz versus the Suns on Sunday. Chris Paul is injured, people, so Chris Paul will not be playing for the next couple of weeks. And also Sunday, you got the Mavs versus the Warriors. So the Mavs, Warriors, Jazz Sun next Sunday. Next week's show is going to revolve around death to all clickbaiters. You have to listen to the show to see what I'm getting at. I will not give away anything but the title, but death to all clickbaiters on 3/7/2020's next show. Remember, people, it's all right to follow, but you follow only for an amount of time before you get the skills to one day become a leader. Because if whoever you are following cannot make you into a leader, they have failed at their job. They are just gathering moss. And you don't want to be a member of the moss crowd. I'm going to tell you, like I tell you each and every time, people, peace to you and peace to yours. You have a great and wonderful week.